this is Scannet process. Scannet process scans the network, and it will find and return all the running processes on Windows machines, everything that it found running at the time it scanned. It can be set to run on a schedule, to run every so many minutes or whatever, and will constantly monitor and pick up running processes. So it can, through Scan software, you can tell what software is installed on a box. Through this, you can tell what is actually running on a machine. Um, this will also allow you to find a process, all the processes. It allows you to click on a process and then identify what that process is. And if you don't want that process to run on the network, you can set it to not run. And every time this runs, every time this scans, it will terminate that process on the entire network or on an individual box. And so, like all the other, let's set it off quickly to do our initial scan. So like all the other applications, opens like this, have to point it at the SQL Server 192.168.1.2, connect to SQL Server. This SQL Server has had a connection to it before, so it remembers the address space that it scanned. It fills all that in automatically. That's ready to go now. And so click this button. Click this button and monitor down the bottom there, and that's it picking up running processes. So if we do that, 71 and 254, 3 seconds, and nodes. These are the nodes, and these are the processes. And there we are. These are all running processes found right now on this. So here we're listing individual instances of a process. So this process, 2 instances of that process found on the network. Reporting Service Explorer, DNS, why we've got 2 instances of DNS. If we click on that, we can see 2 instances. DNS is running on both the backup server and the primary server. And we would, had we run Scannet systems on this network, we would actually have these would be populated, the domain member type and the operating system type and the computer physical type. We would know what they were, but I recognize them, so I know what they are. But so this would return that information, and we can then so we can see what machines are these services running on. If we're not sure what the service is, then we can we can click on the question mark. So I would log on service, not a good one. DNS, we all know what that is. Let's try this one. It's a bit more obscure. There's 2 instances of that running on the network. We click on the question mark. I've opened it twice now. It's a bit slow to respond, and it takes us here, and this will tell us what the what that was. So this is dfssvc.exe, and it says it's the distributed file system service only found on Microsoft Windows Server suites, which is true because those both were servers. And it'll give some information. Should not be disabled, required for essential applications to work. So it gives a little bit of information about it, whether it's considered to be a virus or something dangerous. It gives information here as to what it is. But this is a public domain website that gives information on running processes. So we can kill that off and go back here. Let's pick another one. Let's try that one, and that should have opened it. Let's try again if I'm being too impatient. And that was W3WP, and it's a process associated with application pool in an ISS. Not a critical component, but see the information above. And again, spyware, virus, Trojan, no. So we're okay with those. So this will. So here we go. We've scanned the network. We've discovered the number of instances there are of each thing that's on. And if we can look into them, see what they are. If we want to know more about, but here we can see them on each computer. So we can see that we've got the grouped by computer. So these are all the processes, and if we right click there and tell it to full collapse, So we've got two computers that we've got processors on, and that's right really because everything else that was on that network, it wasn't on the domain, so we couldn't access it. So here we have all the processors on that computer, that's the server, all the processors on this computer. Now what we could do here, and this would be the history, and that if we run more scans, it will tell you that this was, this process was first found at this time, and was found again at this time. Then, but if it's not found, it will show that it wasn't found now. If it is found, it will add another record. Going back to processes here, if we say this SMSS service, there's two of those. We don't like it. We don't really want it to run on the network anywhere. We tell it to, at the moment, by default, they're all unauthorized. So if we turn this to terminate on every one of them, we'd have to do it on every one, and you can only do it manually. So there's not something that will allow you to select them all, so you can't do them by accident. But at the moment they're ignored, but they're not authorized. So first of all, let's authorize them all. Now everything's authorized. Now we will go through and say mark ones that now we're saying unauthorized. We can have something unauthorized but ignored, but the moment we tell it to terminate, if it's unauthorized and terminate, it will terminate it. Take this one. We can say this one is unauthorized and we want to terminate it. And what will happen is it's not saved yet, so we have to move off the record to save it. That's now saved. If we run a scan again, wherever this is found, it's on two boxes, wherever it's found on the network, it will be terminated. And this, we've got notes here, we can make notes about this and say under what conditions and what this, a little bit of a brief explanation. But what we've done is we've told it that this particular process will be, sorry, not that one, the one above, this one will be terminated. It's not authorized and it will be terminated. But I'm going to authorize it because I don't want to forget and run this and start shutting this down. So that will happen across all of the instances. If we go by computer, here we can actually say this is the computer. We can say that we don't want that. So here now again we can authorize everything. But here we can say, well, this, whatever was it this one? Yes, it was. This service, they're all authorized, but don't want that to run, and we're going to terminate that. And that means on that one machine, that process, if it ever starts again, will, when this scans, it will be stopped. So an example would be if it was if you went through here and you said, I don't know what that is, we click on here, it takes you to the site, it says this is potentially a virus or something nasty, and you say, well, I want to stop that right away. You would do as I've done, make it unauthorized, set it to terminate, and run a scan, and it will go and shut that down on that one machine. Or you do the same thing under processor, and it would shut it down across the entire network. The other option is quarantine, and that will terminate it and then quarantine it. It'll actually stop it from it'll change it so that, because at the moment if this service is on auto start, then the next time the box is started they will all restart again, whereas if you quarantine it, it will take it and stop it from restarting. So that that sorts that out a bit. Right, thank you very much, and let's put that back to ignore, and that's the end of that one. Thank you.